Earlier this week I was having a conversation with some of our leaders about just the general sense of fatigue that I think a lot of us are feeling as we continue to make our way slowly through this coronavirus experience. And in the midst of that conversation, a beautiful passage from Ephesians chapter 6 came to my mind, a passage that kind of describes the spiritual armor that God has given us as believers to defend ourselves against the attacks of the evil one. Stuff like a helmet of salvation, a breastplate of righteousness, shoes that have been prepared with the message of the gospel. But what really strikes me as you kind of study through this passage is how many times Paul references the idea of stand. He says in verse 11, stand firm. In verse 13, he says, therefore take up the full armor of God so that you will be able to resist in the evil day. And having done everything else, stand firm. And then he starts the very next sentence off with those same words, stand firm, therefore. What that I think means is this. Listen, in some of the deepest, darkest moments of life, our goal is not simply the idea of maybe perhaps taking new territory, but sometimes it's just the simple idea of surviving the onslaught and the torrent. Sometimes the goal is simply that when the smoke is cleared and the battle is over, that though beaten and bloody and perhaps feeling beat down, we can simply say by the grace of God and through these tools that He has given us, I am still here. That God would find us still standing firm. And so that's my encouragement to you today. Listen, I don't know what you're dealing with, battling with. I don't know what emotional struggles you're walking through, perhaps with some relational challenges, maybe financial difficulties, maybe physical struggles. I don't know what the nature of your challenge is, but I can assure you there is going to be a day, if you're not already in it, when you're going to find yourself completely overwhelmed, thinking, how can I go on? And I want to help you understand in that moment, God is supplying His strength and these tools to you so that when all is said and done, you can simply be willing to say, I am here. I am still standing. Let me pray for us today. Father, thank you for this hope, for this confidence, for this encouragement. God, whatever struggle we are battling with, whatever demons we are struggling with, God, in our hearts and our minds and our lives, we ask that, Father, you would speak this word of strength and encouragement deeply into our souls, that, God, you would give us the courage and that you would equip us with these tools and the knowledge of how to use them well in such a fashion that, God, we can stand firm. And having done everything else we can think to do in the midst of the struggle, that, God, in the end, we can simply